Hey everybody, this is Timbiota coming at you with another Transformers third-party video review. This time I have Fansproject's Function X1 Cody, which we may all know him as Chromedome. Taking a look at the box, and you can see there's no window on it. It's just a blank gold kind of brown box with no detail or anything on it. All the detail is actually on a clear sleeve that goes around the box. Then on the front you can see the Function X along with his identifier number 1 and Cody, his name. Then you have the Function X logo right here. Then going to the side you can see Cody in his robot and then vehicle modes. And then on the back we have the Function X logo again with his warning labels and then a picture of his face. And on the side we have the Function X logo again, the Function X with the Cody again. And there's actually nothing on the top or the bottom since the sleeve doesn't cover that up. See, as you can see, it's just a sleeve that has all the detail on it. Alright, so let's get this guy out of the box. Check him out. Alright, and here we have Cody out of the box and in his vehicle mode, along with his headmaster. Inside the box he also comes with his instruction booklet, which is a nice, long, thin booklet. It actually, when you open it, you actually turn it to the side like that. And these instructions aren't in full color, but they do have this red highlight to indicate which part is actually being moved. And then if you take a picture of this, if you take a look at this last picture, you can actually see what figure is next. And you know, I'm doing this review so late that we already know who's coming out next. So, all right, getting on to the robot mode, or getting on to vehicle mode, you can see his headmaster is very nice. I don't remember his original G1 name, and I don't know if they actually gave him a name in here. I don't see any kind of story or anything signifying what name he's using or anything like that. So just taking a look at him real quick 360 degrees. You can see part of the head on his back and just kind of how that looks a little bit. As for his articulation, he does have a joint that allows him to move his arms forward and back, and then he has a joint at the hip that allows you to move his leg forward and back, a little bit back, yeah, back a little bit, and then he has a knee joint right there. And if you want to say, he does have an ab crunch, but that's mainly for the transformation. So taking a look at the vehicle, you see it looks really nice. It's the paint apps are really nice on here on the front, and just a little bit of detail with the white and the red and the kind of cream color right here. The guns can come off. I'll show that later on. And the only kind of nitpick that I really have is, I don't know, maybe if I move this a little bit around, I don't really think I can, but it's just where this hood meets this fender right here, there's a little bit of a gap right there, and it's kind of on both. I don't think there's actually any way that I can actually fix that. I mean, that's just part of the build. This is built, from what I understand, this is built by a different sculptor than what Fansproject normally uses. So some of the pieces are a little thin. Some of the edges are kind of sharp. It feels a little bit different than normal figures, but the transformation is actually really pretty ingenious. It's actually done something that I've never actually seen before, where you know, you get the hood from the back to the front. The hood's actually attached on the back, but I'll show you through transformation later on a little bit more clearly. Looks like just messing with this wheel right now. It looks like it's rubbing up against this part right here. No, but underneath it's actually pretty clean. You can see some of the fists right here and a little bit of the hip. Headmaster does actually fit inside. He can actually drive. So to do that, what you want to do is push these guns up like this, and then open the kind of cockpit. The thing that I kind of have a little problem with on mine is that this part right here on the cockpit likes to rub up against this part right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of scrapes it a little bit, and it took me a couple times to kind of run it through there and then kind of rub my finger on there to kind of pull off those scrapes. Now it doesn't do it as much, but it still does do it some, just a little bit. But putting this guy in, you can take this, I guess it's not really a steering wheel, but his joysticks. You're going to take him and put him in the seated position. You can move his hands up if you want to. But looking on the inside, there is a kind of peg sticking up, and that's going to go in between his legs and that little open slot in between his thighs, I guess you could say. You can stick him in there and then position him so that he's just so, and you can kind of push him down. He's not really going to, there he goes. I know it's kind of hard to see in there because my fingers are covering it up, but you got to make sure that you push him down all the way. Make sure he's all the way down, or else his head doesn't clear. Looks like he's pretty good there, and then push those steering mechanism down, and then you can close this canopy up, and then bend the guns back down. Alright, and to go ahead and transform them, go ahead and pull this guy back out again. Alright, and I'll just set him off to the side. Actually, I think I need to leave that open. Alright, so for transformation, first thing we need to do, let's go ahead and take this cockpit, or the hood, and raise it up. And it actually was tabbed into this leg part right here with this tab into that hole right there. So pull that up, flip this under, then we're going to come underneath, and there's that hole right there with a little tab, and we're actually going to take our fingernails and just kind of pry up a little bit, just enough to unhitch that and then pull it out. So when you're putting it together, it's actually going to go on top of this joint right here and then tab into here. See how it's covering it up on this side? See that is that joint right there? It's actually covering it up right here. So, alright, and now we'll do the same thing with this side. Just be careful because this is thin plastic. Alright, there that goes. And then, alright, then what we're going to do is take this and swing these all the way out. And then we'll take, at this part right here, rotate this, and then rotate this one. And right here, I'll go ahead and fold this like that, and rotate that just a little bit, just to kind of give it some clearance. And then it's going to swing around this way. You can do that for this side. There, and swing it around. And then once you do that, then this panel will flip up and cover these tires right here, and then take and flatten the feet. Alright, so next we're going to come over here to what will become the hands, and we're just going to, at this part right here, take and split it, split it out like that. And we're going to take this panel, flip it up on both sides, and just kind of push it into there underneath where this gun is. And that's where that'll rest at. Do that on this side also. Alright, next, making sure that this is pushed all the way up, we're going to take and then rotate these portions down. And then next what we're going to do is take, like I said earlier, where it's kind of, I think, an ingenious kind of bit of engineering, you're going to take this hood right here and it's actually going to attach to the front part of the chest right here. It's actually pretty cool. You're going to take it and rotate it. Make sure it's pushed far enough down. And rotate it around right here, and then it actually is going to line up with this track right here, and then you're going to move it from the legs up to here. So you actually moved it from here up to here, and then to cover up this track right here, you just move that crotch piece up, and then go ahead and lower this down. And now we're almost done. All we need to do is straighten up the arms. So go ahead and take that, twist the hand, straighten up the arm, twist the hand. Alright, and for his head, what you do is take, it's kind of the same as a G1 Headmaster. You're just going to take and fold these legs kind of like this. They're going to get to this position, and then you, how I said there was an ab crunch, that's actually used for this part of the transformation. So it's going to get to this part right here, and then just watch this part right here. As you turn it, or turn that joint on that ab part, it's actually moves out his eyes, so it actually transforms up his eyes. So you take and you move that joint, and it reveals his eyes. So I think that's a nice little touch, little addition thing to kind of keep from having the flap that flaps down. You know, that extra little joint right here will actually hide the eyes whenever you transform them. So just the same as as an original. You're just going to take the head and then peg it in right here. And there you have it, Cody in his robot mode. You can take the guns off of here, and they'll fit in his hands, just like so. Alright, and give it a quick 360 degrees. Now for articulation, his head does actually turn. It's this little portion that you can see, this little round portion, it actually turns. So you can turn his head, although you can't make him look up or down. You just get a right or left turn. I think that's actually a nice improvement that they added. His hand, his arm, his shoulder is actually on a ball joint, so you can go up, back, and then out to the side just a little bit. It's about as far as you're gonna get. There's no extra, there's no extra hinge in here or anything to get it all the way out to level or above horizontal. So that's about as good as you're gonna get for that. Then you got your elbow joint, which goes up to about there, and your hand is on a swivel, and you can make it do a little bit like that, just because of the transformation. Then at his hip, he does have a ball joint, which allows you to go forward and back, but being that there's no cut on it, that's about as far out as you're going to get. Then there is a thigh cut right here, and then he does have actually a double knee joint, so you can get all the way up to his back. So then he does have a joint right here on his feet, so you can move it just down a little bit, and about like that. You can't move it up any, and there's no rocker on it. So but as I said earlier, I do believe that they said that a different sculptor than they normally use. So some of the articulation is a little bit lacking. Transformation's nice. It's pretty easy. It's not too complicated. The vehicle mode looks nice. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with this guy. I do like some of the little touches on some of his paint where, you know, they didn't just paint the whole scope white. They actually made the mounting brackets to the scope still red. And stuff like that, added attention to detail and stuff, really goes a long way. I'm looking forward to the next one coming out, which is Quadruple U, or better known as Weird Wolf. He's actually out right now. He's on his way to me right now, so I should have a review up in about a couple days, so look out for that. Don't forget to subscribe. This has been Tembiota, and I'll see you next time.